Warning, some of the topics discussed on The Ron Van Dam Show may cause you to think about things. Don't panic. It happens to all of us sometimes. You will be okay. This is The Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
Ron Van Dam is an experienced talk show host. Do not attempt to try this at home.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Now, whatever.
Hold on tight. Things can get a bit weird if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, you. You listening to the show. How are you? Good to be with you. This is the Ron Van Dam Show. Guess which one I am? Oh, yeah. You're looking really good today. Nice. Ooh, pleasant. Very nice. Look nice. Very good. You should applaud yourself because I only do this show for really nice, wonderful people. So congratulations, you are one of those people. If only I could believe that. I like to feel that I'm having a personal relationship with every single listener of this program, but that means that if we have a personal relationship, we're going to yell at each other, abuse each other, and it's not going to work out. So maybe that's not the best idea. You know, the grass is always greener on the other side. Unless you use more fertilizer than they do, then your grass might be a little bit greener, but in the long run, who cares? That phrase, the grass is always greener on the other side, I don't think it's as much of a social comment as it is a gardening tip. I don't know. You know what I always say about gardening? If you can't solve the problem with the leaf blower, then it's not worth it. Why does every gardener action, like trimming the bushes or something, or why does it all sound like a euphemism? Hey, I'm going to whack my weeds today. Hey, I'm going to trim my bushes. Hey, I'm going to blow dry my hair. Why does that always sound like that's a sexual thing? Because it actually is. What's the difference between a hairdryer and a leaf blower? I think it's just the heat. Other than that, it's the same thing. Okay. All right. I have successfully wasted 3.5 minutes of your life. And you're never going to get it back. How are you? Good to be with you, man. I cherish these moments with you. I say that in complete fiction. I don't care any more than you do. But yet here we are. So, where is this going to take us today? I will tell you, yesterday I went to what they call a museum. It's a place that you go to look like you're interested in something, but actually you're kind of bored. That's what a museum is. It's full of things from the past, the future, etc., that seem important at the time, and after you leave, you realize that really wasn't all that important, actually. But you're in a place where other people have gone to look important and cultural, even though while they're in there, they're just wandering around like walking into walls aimlessly. That's not true. Actually, museums are a wonderful form of culture, and every human being should have culture within them. If you don't have that, then you don't have civility. So that's why you go to a museum. But if you do, I mean, I'm walking around the museum. It was a Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, the MFA. We can't say the whole name of the museum. We have to do the initials. Everything's got the initials. We refer to everything by the initials. So I went to the MFA. The the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. And I'm walking around, and there's a lot of stuff in there. Also a lot of people walking around. I look at the people more than I do the art, because it's a social gathering of people that are there for one purpose, but they can't quite figure out what that purpose is. All they know is they should be there, so we're going there. Should we go to the museum? We really should. It's what we should do. Every once in a while, we should go there. So it's basically, there's two kinds of people in a museum, and there's nothing in between. It's either the people who culturally feel that it's important for them to go to the museum, and then there's the other half of the people who are mindlessly walking around trying to figure out, why am I doing this? It's an interesting dichotomy of opposites. I look at the people more than I do the art. I find that to be far more fascinating. It's just the way I am. It's the way I'm built, the way that I was put together as a cyborg. I find the people in the museum to be far more interesting than museum art itself. I saw a good number of guys. These would be the males, the male species, walking around this highfalutin art place in their shorts. You don't wear shorts to a museum. Who the hell do you think you are? Unless it's a trailside museum where they have stuffed beavers. Euphemism. Other than that, don't wear shorts in a socially cultural location. That's just wrong. You just don't do that. So I saw these guys walking around, and when they sit on when guys wear shorts and they sit on a bench, it's not good. It's because you can see upstairs. You know what I mean? You can look up the shorts, because guys don't wear tight shorts. They just don't. It's not a fashion thing for a guy to wear tight shorts, especially in a museum. But they just usually don't. They don't do that. When women and girls wear shorts, they're fairly tight. You can't see up there. No matter how they're sitting. But guys, when they do the little spread thing, when they spread the legs a little bit and they're sitting on a bench or a chair, you can see right up those shorts. And it's just, I turn my head. I turn my head away like I'm looking at something that is basically disgusting and an unbelievable sight, like a horrible car crash. Men wearing shorts in a museum like that is not right. It defines you. You don't have to say you don't have to stand in the middle of the museum and say, my name is Gary and I'm an idiot. I don't know how to dress. You don't have to do that. It's so obvious. Don't bother even telling people that you don't know how to dress in a museum if you're a guy wearing shorts. That's rule number one. The other thing is there's two types of museum people. I know which one I am. One of them is the people that read those placards on the wall, no matter what kind of display it is. They have these big placard signs, and it says the history of the thing that you're looking at. If you're looking at a piece of art, it tells you the year of the art, who the artist is, and it goes into their history. They wrote it while they had diphtheria and something like that, and it was in a... It's this whole long explanation of the time period and what he had for breakfast or what she did on Thursdays. It's all on that placard, and everybody reads. So they're not so much looking at the art itself. They're looking at the placard of the information about what they did and who they are and what they said when they were doing it. And there are the people that read that shit. I mean, They will not move until they've read the entire placard. They don't even bother. And then after they read all the placard, they look at the piece of art, the picture hanging on the wall next to it, and they go, okay. Some people just stare at this stuff for centuries. Then they have these students that walk through an art museum with a sketch pad and some type of an artist pencil or something, and they're standing there sketching the art that they're looking at on the wall. Why are you doing that? Why? Well, I'm an artist myself, and I'm sketching the art that I'm looking at. I'm making a sketch of it on my pad. Why? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Well, I'm an artist, and this is how I go home and have a sandwich. Put some shorts on and sit in the backyard and sketch a tree. Why are you doing that in a museum in public? What are you doing? Well, I'm an art major. You're a major art? What? I'm an art major. What does that mean? I'm taking art as a major, not a minor. What? That happens in the museum. But here's my biggest problem. They had an exhibit there of the Impressionists. Now, I thought that when I went to to the museum to look at Impressionists, they would have pictures of Christopher Walken or Ronald Reagan or maybe Sinatra, people that did impressions of famous people. Like these people would be like all the time. They would impersonate Christopher Walken. Well, I went to the bank and I saw a man. That kind of impression. But apparently that's not what it was in the museum. Impressionists were artists, and they called them Impressionists, even though they didn't do the voices of famous celebrities. So they had this display, and in the display were some of the paintings and pieces by Monet and Renoir. These are French Impressionists. And it was kind of exciting in a way. I mean, these were the actual original things that they paint, these paintings. That's a big thing. But at the same time, I was staring at the paintings and I realized they're all out of focus. If you were a great artist in the Impressionist days, or even some of the Van Gogh paintings, were they going blind or something? Why was everything so out of focus? Well, Ron, it's not a photograph, it's a painting. But why is it out of focus? I went to the men's room in the museum 5 times to clean my glasses, thinking that they were smudged because the paintings looked out of focus. And I blame this on Renoir and Monet because they painted out of focus. It was driving me nuts. Was this some kind of a practical joke? Well, here are some paintings. Wait a minute, my eyesight is going bad. What's going on here? Well, wait a minute. Let me look at the fire extinguisher on the wall. No, that's in focus. That I can see that. I can see the fire extinguisher. Why are these paintings out of focus? Why would you do that? So I looked that up on this Google thing. That what do they call that? The machine of information, the intercourse, internet. And it said that the Impressionists did that on purpose. Oh, I thought, okay, to screw with me? No. They did it on purpose because it's their impression of what actually exists. You see, they're forming a painting which is their impression of something that's real, but if I paint something that's real, it's like a in focus photograph. If I paint it a little out of focus and put some things in that don't actually exist, or make everything look like they're crazy brush strokes, then it'll be a popular piece of art. Yeah, the brush strokes there were thin little brush. Who did that? Van Gogh especially kind of did it with dots, like some kind of matrix thing, out of a bad printer. These people, these artists, it's just a weird thing. But this is what Impressionists did. They did things out of focus. Okay, whatever. That's amazing. Okay, and then there's people at the museum staring at the paintings going, that's amazing. Well, it is amazing, but it's out of focus. Anyway, the other thing that I found about paintings in the museum, the famous paintings, their subject matters, the people that posed in these pictures that are hanging on the wall, they're not attractive people. Was everybody in those days not attractive? Even in the Renaissance, which is a word that's difficult to spell if you don't do it frequently, the subjects, the people in the paintings, were not that attractive. They were not models. They were not runway models. They were common everyday people. So what they were saying was, these painters, is common everyday people, they're pretty pathetically ugly. They have large noses, they have bad skin, they're out of focus, they're fat, they're overweight, they have wrinkles, they look stressed, they look horrible. Excuse me, can I paint you? Will you be a model for my next painting? Will you be the subject? Can I pose you for my painting? What, you think I'm ugly? Because apparently you only choose ugly people. I don't understand that. You never see a beautiful looking chick or a really handsome, well-built guy in an Impressionist painting or a Renaissance painting. You just don't see it. They just don't exist. They didn't have them. I don't think people in those days, back in the early 1800s and back in the the Renaissance period, I don't think people had mirrors. I don't think they looked in the mirror at all. They just put stuff on their face, and they didn't even do that. They just put crazy looking clothes on and walked around, and they weren't pretty. They were not pretty. I guess people had relationships and were married not based on the way they looked. Hey, you see that girl over there? Other side of the room? Yeah. She's, look at her, like, her folds are really nice. Her puffy arms are quite something, aren't they? I don't think people really cared about the way people looked. Anyway, that's my impression of Impressionists. When you go to the various rooms in a museum, they're not various rooms, they're galleries. They're galleries. That's what they are. Went to a lot of galleries. A lot of paintings. People painted a lot in those museums. Quite a collection. I talk about this a lot because I always find it fascinating. Whenever I go to a museum, whatever the level of the museum is, doesn't matter. They have these museum employees. I don't think they're museum guards per se. I wouldn't call them guards, but they're employees of the museum that just basically stand there all day. Maybe they'll answer a question, but that's about it. And the questions aren't ever, can you tell me about this artist? Is this artist in another gallery as well here, another room? It's not those the major questions that these art museum standing in the room people do. The major question is, where's the bathroom? Where are the bathrooms? Where are the bathrooms? It's down the hall to the left after the second corridor. Thank you. Thanks for your service, standing there answering where the bathroom is. But they just stand there all day, and sometimes they have to pace otherwise they would just pretty much just wither away and die. They have to move a little bit, but they just stand there. And I never see them doing anything. They never walk up to one of the museum goers and say, "Excuse me, you can't do that. Stop touching the paintings. You're not supposed to walk up to the painting and touch it. Stop doing that." You never see anybody touching the paintings. It's just a rule. There are no big signs in the museum galleries, no gigantic signs when you walk in and say, "Please do not touch the paintings." They don't have that because it's understood. It's the one thing that is understood in life without being told not to do that. There's nothing on the ticket to get into the museum that says, "Please don't touch the art." It's understood. But I guess they have to have employees placed in every single gallery that just stand there, and if they see someone touching the painting, they spring into action. These people don't spring into anything. They just stand there. Can you imagine being a museum standing person and the gallery employee? I guess they're called museum guards, but they're not armed with anything. They might have a walkie-talkie or something, or a talkie-walkie, or a, what do they call those things? Walkie-talkies. That's a stupid name for a piece of technology, isn't it? Yes, we've developed a method of keeping in communication through a wireless device. What do you call that amazing piece of technology? A walkie-talkie. Walkie-talkie? Yes, I can talkie while I'm walkies. I can walk and then talk while I'm walking. What do you call a walkie-talkie? It's the stupidest name of anything. It really is. Yeah, I just spent $500 on what'd you buy? A walkie-talkie. What are you, 5 years old? What are you talking about? A walkie-talkie. I love that. Next time we have sex, whisper walkie-talkie in my ear. It'll be amazing. It'll be amazing. But can you imagine one of these museum employees who stand in the room all day going home and so let's say it's a guy. Women can do this too. Guy comes home and wife says, "Oh, how was your day at the museum today, dear?" "Oh man, it's great. I stood there and I think twice I went to the bathroom, and other than that, I noticed that one of the floorboards in the gallery looked a little bit loose, but not really. Other than that, it was a normal day at the museum." Were there a lot of people? Yeah, there were. How many? I counted exactly 727. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, so all I had to do was to count them. There's no other reason to stand there, and that's not even a reason. It's just something to do. Just something to do. I wonder what goes on in the mind of one of those museum standing person, guard employees. I don't know, like, do they actually say to themselves, "My life is shit. I have a meaningless life. I am paid to stand here and not do anything. It's an easy job, but it's too easy. Please give me something to do." Did you have to put a new battery in your walkie-talkie? Yes, I did. At about, I think it was 2:27 p.m. that I had to do that. Horrible thing. Horrible job. If you are one of these museum guard employee, just stand in the room people, thank you for your service. What kind of interview would that be for that job? Yes, do you have an experience standing in a museum? And watching the room and watching the people to make sure nobody touches the painting? Do you have any experience? Well, no, but every once in a while I'll just stand in a place and not do anything. Well, you're perfect then. And it doesn't bother you not to do anything? No, I'm used to not doing anything. As a matter of fact, I don't do anything really well. How do you mean that? That you don't, the act of not doing anything, you do very well, or you don't do very well. Everything you don't do very well. Is that what you mean? I don't know. We only have one job requirement if we're going to hire you. Wear good shoes, because I'm telling you, you're going to be on your feet a lot. How do you feel about being on your feet? Well, I was born on my feet. No, I'm talking about standing all day. How do you feel about that? You're looking at the poster child. You know what I mean? By the way, if I accept this job position, is there any room to advance? You can go to the larger room. That would be great. What if I'm in the larger room? Is there a promotion? We can promote you to the second floor. I mean, I don't think there's much room for promotion there. Is there, what's the vacation schedule? Is there time off? No, you don't need really time off because you're not doing anything. That's true. What are the hours? Until you die, pretty much. We do 6-hour shifts. Can you stand on your feet for 6 hours? Longest I've stood on my feet was 5 hours and 23 minutes, but I think I can stretch it to 6. Well, you have the job then. By the way, you're not allowed to talk to anybody or do anything. But if somebody touches a painting, you spring into action. Sound the alarm. All the other museum employees who are just standing there will swarm, and we will beat the crap out of the person that touched the painting, because you just don't do that in a museum. And that person should be ejected. Okay, I'll take care of it. I got your back, babies. I got your back. I love that phrase, I got your back. I'm going to protect you and support you, but just your back. If someone punches you in the face, that's your problem. But I got your back. I'm going to have your back. If someone touches your back, I'm going to be there. You can count on me. Talk about people watchers. Wow. That's all there is to do. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my trip to the Museum of Fine Arts. Some amazing paintings that were out of focus. And there were no dials or anything on the side of the frames of the paintings to make them clearer or to focus them in. No, that's the way they were supposed to be, because they were impressionists. They did impressions. This is not real life. This is what real life is if you kind of make it a little out of focus, give it some weirder kind of back, lighting or brush strokes, That's what life is to me, with different brush strokes and out of focus. And that is a masterpiece. It's not just a piece. It's a masterpiece. And if you say to your spouse, you look like a masterpiece, what you're saying is, you're somewhat attractive, not really, and you're out of focus. Okay, I'm out of time for today. I'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new episode. But there's a but involved. But until that time arrives, I wish you peace.